I am Negan.
I am Negan.
I am Negan.
What's up, people? Welcome back to I Am Negan, the one of the longest running DWD Universe podcast. My name is Adam Vale, senior editor over at the Koalition and the TV terminal here on YouTube, and I'm joined by editor-in-chief of the Koalition, the one and the only Richard Bailey Jr.
Oh yeah, what's up, Adam? What's up, listeners and viewers?
And Throwdown shows Carlos Romero.
Yo, what's going on?
What's going on is that we made it, people. This is it. This is it. Another one in the book of spinoffs. That's what I'm going to call it. I don't know what they're going to say. Oh, the books of Walking Dead. No. There's a separate book just for spinoffs. And this one, not only because it's the latest one, but it's also the best one. Put it on the top of the pile of that book there because this is it. Daryl Dixon, Season 3, Episode 7, Sunshine of the Sea. Now, that could mean either the sea. No, it's at sea. When I looked this up, I did. It said Sunshine. I just copied and pasted it from what the translator said. Google Translate said Sunshine. You say Solaz? That said Sunshine. Yep. All right, we'll go with both, whichever one. Solaz, Sunshine, Episode 7. It's the finale. But that's what it had said, whatever. But yeah, this is it, people. Now, it could be two things. Either they think they're going to get that solo set to sea, or maybe just all seeing the boat go up in flames. Right? There you go. Now they can just sing Kumbaya, eat their hot dogs. Instead of having it raw, now they got some fire to toast them up. Because that's it. Just like Gilligan, these fools are stuck again. So, we'll get into it. But, oh, man, this was an interesting one. Definitely. I don't know if I would say this is as good as the last episode. It was hard to top the past two episodes because of all the action, the storytelling, the drone shots. I mean, there was so much happening with the train and those beautiful scenes that we got in those episodes. This one, not so much. This was more focused on storytelling and tightening up everything to give us what we were expecting. The end result, whether good or bad, for our boy Daryl and Carol out on their European adventure. So let's get into it. Bing, bing. We get a surprise right at the beginning. And I think, Rich, you pointed this out. I was like, this is clearly just a tease for next season because this dude did not show up at all. We get Frenchie. What was it? What was his name? Fade? I think it was Fade.
No, I don't know what his name is.
Oh, you just made up some. Oh, look at you.
No. That's the name of the mayor. I don't know what.
Oh, no, man.
Fede is the mayor.
Yeah.
No, we don't care about that dude. The mayor, he comes up with. But this was the big bad from the French last season and the season before. If you want to go the very first season of Daryl Dixon, when he shows up in France, then there's the guy that he fights. He kills the brother. This is that brother, the one that went through all kinds of stuff, got tortured. We see him over at one of the offering sites, which is the same one where Daryl showed up. Remember, and he put the Rubik's Cube and all that stuff. This is in Spain. They're just showing us now that this dude made it to Spain. How? I mean, how did Carol get there? How does anybody get to this part of Spain? It seems to be the hot spot. Maybe there's some arrows are saying, hey, you could go to those parts, nothing there, but everything is here. I'm sure they'll explain it later on next season, but as of right now, we don't know. And that was a weird tease. I don't know if it would have pulled the response that I think they're going for, because we didn't go, whenever there's a big reveal where someone comes from the past, like let's say a Negan or let's say Connie, even throw that in because we thought Connie was dead, remember? And she showed, look at me, or not even that. Let's go for Fear the Walking Dead when the mom shows up after being burnt in the baseball field, but they're like, surprise, she's alive. Then there's like, oh wow, that's a shocker. Madison. But here, no, I didn't really get surprised. I'm like, I'm surprised that he's there, but then why? It doesn't really do much for the story. What do you think, Rich? What was the point of this? What were the showrunners and the writers trying to get from the audience with this reveal?
I think they just wanted to have a surprise for the finale, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people wasn't expecting that character to return. And yeah, it was just a teaser for the next season.
But why would he? Like, that's the thing. Why would he? I'm trying to remember the last time we saw him. Wasn't he driving? Right? Wasn't he driving away in a Jeep or something like that?
Well, he helped them to make sure that the other two characters escaped.
Yeah.
So clearly he had already made the turn to become a good guy, but he's on a quest to redeem himself, to become a better person. So I guess he's going to find himself now in Spain. I guess that's the only explanation.
It's just very weird, and it doesn't make much sense, only because Carol and Daryl didn't say, hey, we're going to Spain. No, they told everybody they were going to England. Remember? They went through the tunnel of death. They went to England. They found nobody besides one crazy dude, and then they're gone. So it's not like, oh, they left a trail for this guy to follow. Oh, they left a note, or there was a group of people and they said, hey, au revoir, we're leaving, I'm going to Spain, thanks. They weren't even looking for Spain. They pulled a Gilligan and they just crashed on, over in the country of Spain. So they're going to have to really explain it, because I'm sure a lot of people that were watching that was like, how does this happen? How does this work? Who knows? But that's it. That was a big moment there. We also see Carol and Roberto and Valentina over at the lighthouse. Man, I don't know why I blanked out. I kept saying clock tower. My brain is like clock tower. No, that was not clock tower. But they're there. They're like, oh, this is horrible. What are we going to do? She's like, no, I got to go back. I got to save Antonio. She just created a new relationship, as we saw in the last episode, right? They embraced, they kissed. This is it. He sacrificed himself. She's like, no, I got to go back. I have to save him. The son is all upset. Right? Why? Okay, fine. He didn't tell you about the mom, whatever. But she even says, it's like, he's doing so much for you. Everything he's doing for you. The fact that you're even alive right now is because of your dad. I'm tired of that trope, especially when it's someone of his age. What, he's 20s, right? He's not a kid. He's in his 20s. He's old enough to know what's going on in the world, and he could see what his dad is doing for him and sacrificing for him. So I just, this part wasn't needed. I could have just scratched this when they were like, all right, dialogue. No, scrub that out. What are we going to add then? Just add, he's upset. Oh, why did he do this? He did this all because of, yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. We have to get him. But I'm weak. I'm hurt. I can't really do much. Yeah, you stay here. I got this. That's what they could have did, but they didn't, and to a degree, because Carol does leave with Valentina's boy toys. They say, all right, don't worry, we got this. We're going to help you out. We're going to go and we're going to see if we can go get them. So what did you guys think of this whole little scene right here, seeing that Carol is going to go out and do what we pretty much thought she was going to do, which is go save her new boyfriend-to-be.
I mean, she's got the motivation. Got to get that. What did homegirl say about the local wine?
Local wine, got to get that. She got that taste.
You got that taste. Yes. Now it's addicting. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that she went with the boy toys. I'm like, Roberto, you got to be fit, right? You're already good.
Well, that's the thing, right? We don't know. Was it a few days, a few hours? It was probably just a few hours. They just got there, a few seconds, right? They just got up. All right, we're here. Gotta go. What do you mean? My back hurts. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm constipated. No, it doesn't matter. We have things to do. It's like nope. We gotta go do it. All right. Then speaking of going to do some crazy things, we go back with now Daryl and Cowgirl. That's what we're calling her. I just love that name. She's a badass. Last we saw, she had her car. Daryl had his bike, and they were on their way to not Barcelona, but the other town. What was it called?
Well, first it was a village. Well, I think it was a village, right? Because eventually they're making their way to the Alcazar.
That's it. That's where they were going. They're making their way to Alcazar. That's where they were en route. But then they find another little village. They see some people there. Cowgirl's trying to recruit. I can't see Daryl trying to say, "Come join me, fight, bang, 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 bang." No speaking the Spanish. I can't. I can't. And thankfully, they didn't do that. But while she's doing this, it seems like this was the same road that she was on when she got ditched. Remember when they beat her up and they shot her and left her for dead, Kill Bill style? And that's what I got from that scene with like the fade out. It was like a black and white, like face. Oh, she's just laying there on the road, and she sees this and she has her own little flashbacks. But I think what we don't see here, we don't see who's doing it. We see that it's been done to her, and later on we find out that it is the guy full circle. But no, she sees this, and then somebody's like, "Hey, all right, we got some people. They're willing to help. All right, we gotta get in the back of the truck, and then this is it. They're gonna get us over to that town for the thing, and then poof, we get the intro. Everybody's happy. I love that intro. I love all these intros. I don't think about it. The best for me was Fear the Walking Dead. We've always talked about that. How like every season had its own little intro and splash screen of the theme of whoever was supposed to be, whatever they're dealing with. But let me see. Where are we at now? Antonio. Oh, yes. This was the sad part. So sad. So we jump back with Carol. Carol makes it to town, but things aren't going great because the mayor comes out, gives a whole speech to the people about traitors and the people that let them down. The Americans ruined everything. They were a peaceful town, not anymore. The poops hit the fan, and they're all screwed right now. But don't worry, there's somebody who is a traitor among us, and we're gonna make him pay. And it's Antonio. The funny part with all this is that whenever they show any show, usually does these type of scenes with the mob, and it's like, "Hey, here's a traitor." Usually what follows is boos, right? Boo, boo, hey, it's throwing stuff. We didn't get that. It's almost as if people were like, "No, not Antonio. No.
Antonio's one of us."
Exactly. We didn't. It was weird. It wasn't like it was definitely a hard sell. That's what I was getting from all this. That the people were just not buying it, and it sort of makes sense from what we see later on in the episode of how the people try, helping them out and stuff like that. But it just stood out to me because whenever I see these scenes, there's always something. And I think of even Gladiator. Let's think of Gladiator or Maximus when he gets thrown in there. Everybody knew he was this big commander. They won all these battles. They knew about him. And then they throw him in there as a gladiator, and people just start booing him. Remember, boo, boo. Really? You loved him yesterday. You knew about what he did for the great of Rome. But
yeah. Well, and sorry to inject, but
no,
the whole thing with Carol, Daryl, and everyone, they literally just helped save the village like 3 episodes ago. Mm-hmm. So it's I understand, you gotta switch paces and stuff and get to the next stuff, but when you think about that village, it just seems really unrealistic that everyone just automatically just turns on the people who saved the village or helped save the village. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but like I get to your point with the people, kind of not cheering them on. It seems like, well, how could they? Because they are part of the village at this point.
Yeah. And Antonio's a big part of it. I mean, he runs a local movie theater. He's got all the films. He hooks people up. He's a nice guy. Yeah, his son is.
Everyone has a subscription AMCU movie pass.
Exactly. If they're like, wait, if Antonio goes, who runs the projector? Who's gonna go out there and scavenge for film? No. I need my entertainment. Life is horrible right now. I mean, we don't do much in this village besides work for food and deal with giving up our pretty girls to whoever comes to town. So no. But speaking of that, right? We right before we go though, they string him up. Now I thought they were going to quarter him like they did the last guy. Didn't they stretch that other dude? I was like, they didn't do that though. They just lift him up and he was still hanging from the back with the arms and the waist and everything, but they didn't just pull him apart. Instead, they just leave him up there for a while. Carol wants to run out there. The boy toys like, no, we gotta wait. You can't just go out there. You'll just get busted, and there goes that. So that's it. At this point, I'm gonna say I thought he was gonna die. I really thought he was gonna die. I was like, this is it. There's always got to be someone, right? We had one last episode that was a quick. It's like, oh wow, she's a big part of this community. Look, she's part of the freedom fighters, rebel force, whatever you want to call them. She's dead. And we figured with Antonio, he could have died in the last episode when he tried to help them escape, and the mayor found him. Was like, oh, he could have popped him right there. He didn't. Oh no, this is it. They're gonna torch him. She's gonna run out there. Too late. He's gonna be dead. But no, right now it did not happen. Right? But we get back to that area with where they're doing the ceremony for the young girls to get handed off to other royal men or people of high prestige within their community, and we were exposed to this puppet show with walkers, and I kept bringing this up, and hey, let me know in the comments if you think I'm overthinking this. Rick says, hey, you're looking too hard at this. Come on now. But I noticed that they had makeup on and they had the clothes and they're doing the whole puppet thing. I was like, who puts the makeup on the walker unless they tied their face? So I was thinking is that they put the makeup on, they put the outfits on, whatever people that they decide to pick, and then they killed them. So that way they turn into walkers and then they do the puppets. Go ahead.
Have you ever painted a room?
I did back in the 60s. Next.
You can just get, one of those paint rollers with a little extension thingy, put it on some paint, wipe it on their faces. That's as simple as that, man. That's all you got to do.
Maybe.
I mean, they put two walkers on Roberto later on in the episode. I feel like that's harder to do than putting paint or lipstick into them.
Roberto, that dude has 9 lives, man.
He does.
Right. So I mean, every time he always looks helpless too. It's like every time you see him in some kind of chaos, some fight, you're like, oh, this is where he dies. Oh, I don't think there's a viewer out there who's like, man, this guy is gonna make it to the end. No, I don't think so. But we also see that Daryl and Cowgirl, they're snuck in. Right, they're in the back of the truck. They pull up. I find this funny because it's at the checkpoint. Again, one of these tropes. Whenever we see checkpoints, what happens? Guy says, "All right, what are you bringing in?" Got goods, cloths, all kinds of stuff. All right, open up the trunk. That's what you expect, right? Open up the trunk. Nope. All right, go ahead, go on in. And then you see everybody they're just peeking underneath, like, we did it. They don't give a shit. And then poof, there we go. They make it. They get in there. Interesting. I don't know if this is a real thing. It could have been a thing. But they were like, once they get there, it's like, hey, you have to wear this mask. It's like, why? It's like that. They don't want to see your face. They don't want to see people's faces. So they just want everybody to have a mask. And I guess it works 2 ways. It's like, one, for these Richie Poos, they don't want to see everyone's faces because then they might see how decrepit or maybe starving they look, sunk in the eye sockets or whatever it is, right? But then on the other hand, I see this as working against them because what if there's somebody who hates you and you're like, man, Jimmy said he was going to kill me. I don't know when he's going to do it, but he's going to try. Oh, wait, what? We're going to this party? Why is everybody wearing a mask? Well, that's just what we do. We put our help with masks. Shoot, Jimmy could be here. I could see that being a downfall also. But hey, they're there and they got instant work. They're like, all right, that's it. You put this mask on and go out there and be somebody. Start serving some drinks. What did you think of that whole intro there? Because I don't know. You would have thought that they would have had a little more control over this. Like, hey, we see that we're supposed to have 4 servers. Now we have 6, if we count Cowgirl and Daryl. And one of them is wearing a trench coat. What the hell is going on here? It's like, what's happening? or a duster. I should say.
You would think they would probably make them, take a shower or something before the dinner.
Yeah, clean them up. It's like I'm sure they smell like hot garbage. These people have been,
especially Daryl. He's been out there for days.
Oh, Daryl doesn't even think about taking the shower, man. He's so far removed from bathing that it's like not even in his mind. He's what? Shower. Yeah, that word. Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. It's been too long for that, man. Not for Carol, because Carol's been watching Antonio shower and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah. But Daryl wasn't there for the shower. So I'm sure Daryl would have jumped in. Hey, move on over. I can't remember last time I touched this much water. At least clean water. He's touched dirty seawater.
And he was, thirsting for water an episode or 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, but that was just enough to drink. Not enough to bathe. So yeah, he's going through his motions there. We get back into town. It's nightfall, and then now the boy toys are like, all right, now we can do this. Carol comes out, she takes a look, she sees Antonio, and he even said, like, yeah, Carol, is this? No, it can't be. No, I'm just adding all that, but I think it would have been cool if he was like, I must be seeing things. But no, she's like, hey, I'm here to rescue you. And I brought some friends, and sure enough, they're like using the crank and they're bringing them down. I thought maybe they were going to use chain cutters. I figured that would be a little more quieter if they just cut the chains, because once they start cranking it, I was like, wow, that's pretty loud. Sure enough, everybody hears it. The soldiers come out, they start bucking shots and screaming, oh, they're here, they're taking Antonio, and sure enough, they get away. But Rich, what did you think of this? It was pretty fast, this whole thing of just getting Antonio unhooked. Did you think there was going to be more of a battle to take place? Do you think he was even going to be alive?
Oh, yeah, I expected them to, at some point, respond to him trying to escape. The scene prior to that where Fede was threatening him for an answer and then they just cut away and they go to Daryl, I didn't like that, because you should have saw them take some type of action. They made it seem like they were going to do something to him, and then it just comes back later, he's just still there hanging. So I didn't like that at all. But yeah, I knew they were going to definitely try to stop him from getting away.
Yeah. All right. So you thought he was going to live. You know what? Now, I'm just going to say it right now. I have a feeling that ever since Walking Dead proper, where they had so many people die, which some we could argue didn't really want to die. They just, whether contrary disputes, as we talked about with Carl and all that stuff, wasn't supposed to die, but hey, things aren't working out, or other stuff like that. We haven't really seen major deaths, right? That was the whole thing with Fear the Walking Dead, that all the way to the end, they all had a happy ending, right? They all drove off in their different ways. Hey, I'm getting in my car, I'm going back to Cali, I'm going here, I'm going back to Atlanta. Yay. I don't think, and if it wasn't for that one, oh man, from Walking Dead proper, who wanted to die, Rosita decided, the actress wanted to leave the show. She's like, I'm done. Don't worry about it. I'm not coming back for spinoffs. Just kill me off. If she didn't choose that, no one would have died in the finale of the Walking Dead proper as well. So I'm starting to think that there's a trend here. We're not going to see him. Some people are like, oh, Isabella. She was the local wine taste, if we want to stick with the narrative of how, a boat lady over here talks about it. I didn't see her leaving France. I just didn't see that, because at least Daryl doesn't get relationships like that. All the ones that he has had with Jane Connie and all, it's always like a few episodes here and that's it. He doesn't have a Michonne type of thing like with Rick, and it never works that way. And so for him to have this adventure in Europe, he already has Carol by his side. So that's why even with Carol, I don't see this whole thing working out with Antonio. I was like, oh no, he's gonna die. It's not gonna be, Daryl Dixon, the Carol and Antonio love affair with adopted son Roberto. I don't know. No. But
would it be the first adopted son she's had?
Oh yeah, and she lost that one too. Henry. Oh man, or was it Harry or Henry?
I don't. I never.
It was with an H. Yeah,
I'm glad I don't remember his name.
Well, it didn't matter because all the lines he did was Carl's from the comics, so he wasn't even original.
Yeah, he was really the Carl replacement after Carl passed.
But hey, they are trying to get away. The village people say, "Hey, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna help you." Right? You got the gatekeeper dude. He's like, "Hey, don't worry, I got away. You just got to go down these tunnels." That already gave me a bad vibe. I was like, no. Something's not right. Sure enough, they go through and they're fighting all these walkers, and everybody's leading them through these paths. And I couldn't tell if they were really trying to help them or just setting them up to die by walker. Right? I don't know. It just something didn't feel right from the beginning when they were like, oh yeah, go down this way, walker. Oh, go down this other way, more walkers. What the hell? There weren't all these walkers outside. Why are you sending me? I thought all the walkers in this area were all tied up around the village. Remember? Like that's how they had them. But no, they're just like roaming around in these areas. I don't know. Unless I'm missing something there. But back at the dinner, right? We start seeing all the offerings, all the girls have been picked up from all the villages. You notice no one here brings up all the chaos that took place in the last episode. Never gets brought up by these Richie Poos. No one brings it up. Right? As if it didn't happen. Yeah, a lot happened there. They got shot up. Some of their guys died. I don't even think they didn't get to pick up whoever they were going to recruit from that town. That they didn't get to do it. They just took off because it was like, oh, we gotta get out of here, right? Elena, right, and her. I don't know if he was a general. I'm assuming he's some kind of higher up. We thought he was going to be king because even Daryl called him like the king, the future king of Spain. But we actually see the king of Spain because Cowgirl says it. Oh, look, there's a king and queen of Spain right there. Watching the zombie show.
Wait to be king.
Right there, you go.
So he was a successor. I mean, when the king was already kind of old, and it looks like they don't have the best hospital facilities in the area. So
could be they got some Robitussin. Put some tussin.
They got Robitussin. Fayde's got like a stash where you.
At first though, I thought that we were gonna get a red wedding situation because remember with Daryl didn't know.
Kind of did.
Girls like sort of in a way, yeah, because. She's looking around. They're looking around. They're serving everybody. They see all these higher ups all hanging around watching this puppet show, eating and stuff like that. And she says, "Hey, you got a plan?" He's like, "I'm working on it. I don't have a plan." And I figured, oh, he's not going to need a plan because that guy who's been wrangling up all these girls, he wants to be the boss. And I was expecting him to give a speech after everyone picks the girl that they want. I thought he was going to say, "See, I come through for you. I bring you beautiful women, and not like this old dude, nothing happens." And then they just kill them and says, "Now I'm the king." I thought that's what we were going to have here because then it would make sense. It's like, oh, okay, this is a power play. But no, it doesn't. In fact, the way everything pops off is kind of random because we see Daryl in the back looking around, and I guess it's the boss of the servants comes over. "What are you doing back here? What are you doing?" And Daryl knocks him out. And he's like, "You know what? Forget it. Freeze the zombie performers there, and the rest is a feeding frenzy." All right, they're all running around. They're fighting. They're biting. They're people shooting. They're going nuts. We see the king of Spain. He gets chomped. The queen gets chomped. A few other people start getting chomped. But hey, Daryl's like, "All right, let's go." I thought I saw him grab Justina's hand, but I guess not because he then told Cowgirl because he told Cowgirl go find Elena, which is her love interest, right? So he just went to go kill. He just went to go do his thing, unless I missed something. But what do you guys think of that? Did you like how this all played out with just setting it up? Because I thought there was just going to be more to it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I feel like this could have been more of an extended scene where just the chaos of it all. But it looks like it kind of did extend, but it just went through different places outside of the main area. It went to the rooms with
the rooms and stuff like that. But I mean, just a setup. I just thought when he was like, "I'm going to come up with a plan." Well, that seemed like a very on the spot moment. It wasn't so much of a plan, but hey, it worked. I just thought it'd be a little, I don't know.
it's the obvious plan. It's the efficient plan. You got the artillery on the backside of the stage, and got to do what you got to do. I didn't mind it as much. I kind of saw. I mean, when I first saw those things, I'm like, oh, they're gonna be loose in a couple of scenes later. So.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't mind it. I felt it's kind of I like the whole play stuff as well. It was kind of, I don't know if anybody in the past Walking Dead seasons have done this. So I like the creativity.
It was definitely creative. We haven't seen anything like that. It's like that with a few of these episodes. We talked about it in the previous episode, the zombie train.
The train,
zombies pulling the train and stuff. It was a lot of crazy going on. Or even the main town with the surrounded by all the walkers, and in case something happens, they let loose and walkers can go and to help defend the town. That's pretty interesting. Cool layout. But so we got Cowgirl. She goes running around. She finds Elena in the room. They hug. Like, all right, we gotta get out of here. And then we see a little boy. Like, hey, Mom, what's going on? It's like, uh-oh. It's like, all right. She bends down. Like, oh, this is my friend. She's very special. We gotta go, but let's just pack up some things. Let's go get your Transformers, and then we're gonna head out. Right? Because that was one thing. Rich was like, hey, what do you mean? You gotta leave. We can't just grab stuff. He said, but they gotta pack up. They don't know how long they're gonna be on the road. They can't travel light like the way Daryl and Carol. Daryl and Carol, they just travel whatever in their pockets. That's pretty much it, and then they're good to go. But it's a big surprise. We see a little shock on Cowgirl's face because she didn't know about this. This was never mentioned that she had a son, Elena. But then again, she seems happy. She's so I guess it's more like, well, at least I'm getting her back, and I have an instant family now because there we go. We got a little Pablo. So shout out. But once she's getting that all figured out in her head, the door opens up. Some dude comes out. She throws a knife like a ninja star and catches him. He drops, but then another dude comes and knocks her down. All right. She's down on the ground. She's getting a flashback of, they keep using that one scene. I guess they didn't film many scenes of her in the past, but hey, at least we get a flashback. But it keeps showing us, and she opens up her eyes, and we see that it is the husband of Elena. But it's also if I'm remembering wrong, let me know. But this is the first time we see that this is the person that left her for dead on the side of the road. Right? Did they show this before?
Yeah,
that it was him.
He stabbed her and left her for dead. Yep.
All right, so they did show that because I always remember just seeing her face and like on the ground, and then this one they turn the camera around and we see him over her, and so it's like as if like trying to tell us like look. Not only is this the guy who took her girl, but this is also the one that left her for dead. And then he starts mouthing off to her, whole thing. He's gonna finally finish the job, but no, it's too late. He gets killed by Elena, and hopefully little Pablo didn't see that. I don't think he did, because later on he wants to drive like he's ready for Mario Kart. So I would think if he saw his father get murdered, right, he would have been like traumatized, freaking out. Oh, mama, ¿qué pasó?
Pero why? Yeah, she. I mean, Daryl did make it sort of, or no, not what's her name? The cowgirl definitely made it seem like, yeah, go get your kid. I don't want him to see, you look like this. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't see anything happen, or even the dad afterwards. Probably took the scenic route.
Yeah. So there goes that. But they head out, and then we see the king, and we get to see the King of Spain zombie version. He's just like, ugh. And it's funny when I saw that. And I was like, oh, Zombie King. And then I was just thinking back, I was watching, it's on Disney Plus, Marvel Zombies. I don't know if you guys watched that. And it's a whole series now of just zombies. They did that one, the What If, and it was like showing some of the superheroes in zombie form. And this is a whole show of that. And they have Captain America zombie, Hawkeye, you name it, they're all zombies. And that's what I thought of here. I was like, oh, look, now we got Zombie King over here. Maybe he's going to do something. Oh, no. Daryl's just going to put him down. They just wanted to let us know, just in case you didn't realize or you missed it before and during the dining room scene. He died. He's dead twice. Right, that's it. No coming back for this dude. But they all reunite in the hallway. Right, we have Justina there. We have a few of the other girls that are there. I could have swore the other one, the original one, was there also. Right, I think she was. I don't think she died. No, Justina is not there. Everybody else was there, but Justina was not there because there was the other part where Justina's in the room with her new husband, who seems to not really care about all the chaos that's going down. He wants to start drinking and get this party started. Right? Yeah. You notice that? Like that, that scene felt like it should have been cut and put before the chaos that happened, in the dining room, because you would think with all the zombies and all the crazy stuff that he was like, all right, let's just pack up the stuff. We're not staying at this town anymore. We're going home. I'm going to show you a whole new life off in the village, whatever. But no, he wants to get this party started. She starts mouthing off. No, I don't want this. They start fighting. Daryl comes in, kills him. She's super happy. She's like, can I marry you now? He was like, no, you belong to Roberto, but if he dies, maybe we'll work something out. Then they head off. Right? I'm just adding that because I just find things are hard in Apocalypse. Look at this. I mean, to the point you have to skip all the dating and just go out there and just grab girls. Well, they're not really grabbing them. The town of volunteering these girls. And that's the dating season. That's how it's done. This is the Match.com, but the speed up version. Let's just get this over with. But hey, then they all get together. They're like, all right, let's go. You see a few more girls like, what about us? Yeah, everybody, come on, let's all get out of here. We all gotta go. All right. So then we go back to Carol. Right. And yeah. Okay. So she's taking care of Antonio. They find one little spot. One of the villagers is like, hey, don't worry, I'm gonna help you guys out. It's gonna be good. But no, it's not good. It's not good. We got more people chasing them. It's just chaos happening. That kept going back and forth. I was expecting something else to happen with this. Again, I keep expecting Antonio to die, because we know Carol can't die. Or what happened to the boy toys? They didn't die, right? Did I miss that?
Yeah, they did die because
they did. When?
Yeah. Because later in the episode, it was they had to fight them off too. They was among the walkers, so they also got killed off screen. Yeah,
they got killed off screen because. All right, okay, all right. Because I was just trying to figure. Because I thought about, I was like, wait a minute, they didn't. Maybe they got out, but then, in fact, we'll just get to this part because I want to talk about this. So the mayor brings them in, saying, all right, this is it. You're gonna. He pretty much says he's gonna let them go free because Antonio's like, no, it's all me. Let Carol go. And it's like, don't worry, you can both go. That's it. Go. Clearly, we know what's gonna happen here, right? But what I didn't know is that once they get out there, this is where we see that Roberto is there, and they're freaking out. But this is why I'm saying with the boy toys, because there was two bodies that were chained to him, and I'm wondering, was those the boy toys?
Those are boy toys.
Those are the boy toys. Oh, okay, so that's just going on. So they're chained to him, but not in a good way, like Michonne. He has no control over these two, right? And they're there, and we're like, oh shoot, he's screwed. They're out in front of the courtyard area. No weapons. The mayor goes out on the balcony. He tells the gatekeeper, who's the one that sold him out. We found out the reason why he sold him out for meds for his wife. That's how they were found. It's a small town. Come on now. People need stuff. And he even says it. He was like, you know what? Everybody's got, pretty much, he should have had the $1 Million Man laugh. Right? Everybody's got a price. Money. But it said meds. But yeah, so the gatekeeper opens up. We get a bunch of these walkers. But right before that happens, Daryl and Juliana and everybody, they head over to the lighthouse, super happy. They're like, yeah, this is great. And there's some dudes there. Carol takes one out. Valentina helps out, but then we see that she's shot, and she says, hey, you missed it. Roberto was here. They took him. And then that's when we got to see that scene there. It was really quick. But then again, it doesn't really matter because it's not that far away. Because once we get to this scene, we're like, oh, now they're going to have to fend for themselves for a while. This is when Antonio dies. No. Daryl shows up. right? There to save the day with infinite ammo, okay? And remember, he's a perfect shot. If we're thinking of an RPG, this dude's a 10 for 10 for shooting. Holy moly, man. Bring him to the carnival. He'll win you all the stuffies because this guy, ping, 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 you know, but they're getting ready to fight. Somebody throws a knife, you know, it's like, hey, Carol, you know, and one of the mayor's goons shoots at Carol's like, nope, can't use that. You just gotta fight. And it's funny. Antonio says he grabs a gun and he says, I could have swore in the subtitle said, butt of the gun. Right? He's like, butt of the gun. I'm like, do we need you to say that? I'm pretty sure we see you doing the butt of the gun. You know, but they're fighting, and Daryl then takes his time, picks his shot, starts picking them off. Cool scene in a way, but we're waiting for something. And then, yeah, sure enough, we see Juliana. She just standing there in the road, and this scene bothered me. Not a lot of the scenes were just like eye rolling, except this one. This one made no damn sense because you got all these walkers. You got bad guys that work for the mayor shooting, right? They're shooting at Daryl, they're shooting at whoever else, but I'm pretty sure they're just shooting at Daryl. But then we see Juliana walking through, and I'm trying to think, there was a scene in another movie where the person just felt they were invincible and they were just walking through chaos because they were so numb to everything that's happening around them. But that's what I'm getting from this. She's just walking. There's walkers, and we've said it's like, oh, this is when she dies. This is it. She's gonna die. But no, Daryl, not only is he shooting at the goons that are shooting at him, but he's also perfect shot dropping all the walkers that are getting close to her. You know, perfect. He's walking through. This is it. We've seen a lot of drone shots in this episode. Beautiful drone shots, scenery, proof. Yes, you're on location. They should have done a drone shot there. Just nice top view, and just every time she walks and a walker gets close from the left, walks from right, just starts dropping because he's just cracking them out, right? Doing that whole thing, and she survives. We look, and they're all dead. Were you expecting this, Carlos? Rich? I was shocked by how this scene ended.
Yeah, I also did not like the scene for the same reasons you said. Because, by the way, yeah, Justina.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that, yeah, you know, and then we also saw that Fede, aka the mayor, when he saw that she was walking, he also started shooting the walkers also. But yeah, I just think it's funny how everyone had the perfect shot, the perfect timing. Yeah, we take them out just in time before they can bite her. I thought that was very silly. Because I also think if something did happen to her at that moment, then he would feel a lot more guilt that he also caused all of this chaos, and then that she actually still got hurt. That would have made more sense to have something happen to her at this moment, and then also you have the tragedy of her not getting a chance to rekindle things with Roberto either. So yeah, that was a missed opportunity, but I understand why they did it, because they wanted to give you the sense of a happy ending for the couple and everybody else.
In the streets, they call her Justina Moses. Because she parted those walkers.
Right?
Right. They needed that scene. I guess they were waiting for it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is the most eye-rolling one out of the whole episode. So I got to give you guys that point. It wasn't as bad as it kind of does seem, but yeah, it's definitely an eye roller.
Because once it's done, they're all dead. All the walkers, all the soldiers, and I guess they're dead. Daryl shot all of those guys, right? Or maybe they just decided to stop shooting. They're like, all right, I'm done. I'm not working with this guy. And how does the mayor go down? His mom. She's so disappointed in him. She looks at him. She's on the balcony, and he says, "Speaks like, carajo," you know, the guy, how dare you? And she could not believe it. And then he goes running off. You know, I was like, what the hell? You know, and so everybody gets together, the people from the village, everybody comes down, they're embracing them, they're talking to them, they're bringing flan and all kinds of stuff. It was awesome. Everyone's super happy now. But then we also see that some other people have captured the mayor. Right? They captured him, and they were like, "This is it. You're going to jail. We shouldn't have done any of this stuff. You made these deals and this and this. Whatever. I don't get this. Why not banish him or kill him? I know that they're tired of killing, but at least banish him. They're gonna put him in jail for how long? What? I didn't see a judge. I don't see sheriffs. There's no trial. What's the point? That I don't get that part. But anyway, everybody wrangles up back at the boat. This is it, right? Happy ending. Who fixed this boat? Because they make it seem like this boat is good to go. Nobody fixed this boat. Did I miss that?
No. I know who fixed the boat.
Who fixed the boat?
The AMC writing team, because they say yes. Team.
Okay.
Because it happened. It happened totally off camera. All this time passed, and then somehow they figured everything out by the time everybody came back to the boat.
Because at first I was like, well, I guess they're going to say the boy toys did it. That the boy toys were the ones that were out here fixing the boat. Because remember, Valentina had talked about helping put the boat together and fix this stuff. And I think maybe that's what they're going with. But either way, the boat is good to go. They're getting ready. They're going to sail out the next day. They're all going to America, right? I think we have some audio here from Carol and Daryl, because Daryl starts reflecting on all his life choices during this moment.
I've been trying to get home. Why the fuck did I leave in the first place? Why'd I have to get in a fight with that guy in Maine and get thrown on the boat? Why didn't I leave France when I could've?
Yeah, well, these are all the questions that we have, buddy. We'll always remember that last episode, Walking Dead proper, and there's that scene of him just driving out of the Commonwealth. It's like, you got everything here, and he keeps going with it. He's like, I keep running, and at least it gets explained. Well, what explains this is all these flashbacks that we've been getting in this episode with him and Merle, and it's his brother telling him to run off. Avoid the beatings that Dad's going to give us. And it's just sticking with him throughout his whole life, which is what he's telling Carol. He's constantly running. He can't stay in one spot. And his fear is that he's realized he shouldn't be going. Why is he putting himself in this spot? But it's his voice in his head. And he feels that once he gets back home, what if the voice comes back and tells him to leave? And then Carol's like, don't worry, it won't. You can't make that promise, Carol. Carol, you're not the one to answer that. We need somebody else. And I know this is a trope, and people are like, oh, you don't need people. You could just be happy alone. I don't think so. I think one of these, we need somebody to tie Daryl down, whether it was Connie or if you wanted to still keep Isabella around, somebody to stabilize him as an anchor, because family, friends, that's not enough for Daryl. Okay, maybe a nice motorcycle. Someone says, hey, we found this awesome rare Harley. It's like, as long as you stay, you can keep this bike. I don't know, but either way, there goes that. He's doing all that. At this point, we're waiting for Frenchie to show up, right? I think that's what we were all saying. Was like, all right, he's on the boat. All right, he's going to show up near the boat. Something's going to happen. But no, nothing. None of that happens. What happens is the mayor shows up. The mom goes down there to talk to the mayor. And we knew instantly then something's not right here. Even though she smacked him and she's disappointed, that's still her son. And I guess she let him out, because then he shows up and he's like, this is it. You're going to come ruin everything for me and get in your boat and sail away. Happy ending? No. Then someone addresses him. They get into a fight. He shoots at the boat. What the hell did he shoot? What, a canister or something? Because it set the boat up like a tinderbox. What was that?
Probably the ammunition, or maybe they had gasoline to.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It would have made more sense if he had like a cocktail or something, and he's like, "You pendejo!" It just like and threw it on the boat, and he shoots him, but it's too late. Either way, the boat goes up in flames. The mayor's not dead. They knock him down, but he's not dead. And then they start scrambling. They show that funny scene of scrambling, trying to get water on the boat. No, you didn't have buckets on standby. You don't have fire extinguishers or anything. And the way this thing was burning was as if, like you said, they hit an ammo box or something, because they just went boom. It was up. The whole thing was burning. There's no fixing this, okay? There's no like, all right, we can fix this. We'll be good to go tomorrow. Nope. It's gone. The boat is gone. We start closing out with a Spanish version of Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. Yes, Johnny Cash did the cover, but it's still a Nine Inch Nails track. But this was a really cool cover. And they're playing it out. And it's like, what happens now? What happens now? And then the credits roll. Rick started crying a little bit. And I was like,
I heard today.
And then we stopped and we jumped in here to record to talk about this because overall, let's give our thoughts. I'll just get mine out the way. It was a good season. Good season, right? We got some good episodes, some amazing episodes. Those last 2 episodes, man, but put those on the checklist of like greatest in the Walking Dead history. Just with cinematography, the acting, the action. We got firewalkers. Hell, even in this one, we got some firewalkers that were running around over at the dining room area.
We got firewalkers and acting walkers.
Acting walkers, exactly. We had all kinds of walkers, happy walkers, sad walkers.
Waka walkers.
Waka walkers, right? Waka waka waka. It was good. It was good, but this one, I don't know. It didn't feel like a finale. I didn't get that feeling of like, oh man, this was the end. No, it just I'm expecting the next episode to be the finale, but there is no another episode.
Here's the thing. We knew we discerned that this season was not going to end with them being back in America.
Mm-hmm.
We knew they were going to stay in Europe somewhere, probably still in Spain. So I feel like it would sort of be anticlimactic if they made their journey back. Not anticlimactic, but it wouldn't make sense if they would do it this episode. They kind of did finish all the storylines in a way. They beat the Alcazar. The mayor is kind of banished. And
what happened to those people that showed up on the horse and stuff? Did they kill them all during episode 6 during the town invasion? Because they didn't show up. We haven't seen them again.
The
rebels, that rebel group.
Well, they're rebels. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting, if anything, I was expecting them to show up and be like, "Now we're taking this boat." But
yeah, so I feel like at the end of the day, I expected this season to end this way because just the simple fact that we already were expecting to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh wow, so expecting to stay here. So it's almost like the way season 1 and 2 were still in France.
Mm-hmm.
You figured it's this. All right. Well, we'll get into your thoughts on this one because I'm just my rating for this one. I'm giving 8.7, 0.5.4.3.
The episode is close.
Just the season. No, the whole season. Yeah, not the episode anymore. Just the whole season. Close, very close to a good 9. Out of 10. This was good. It's just this ending. And it wasn't like you said, I wasn't expecting them to go back to the States. There's no way. But I was expecting them to get on the boat and then say, all right, now we got to figure out where we're going. And then we'll figure this out. Or maybe if they showed something with France, well, we saw Frenchie at the beginning and they showed off that he's there. It would be cool if, let's say, he showed up right at the end. And I have a feeling this is if he's there, it means he had a boat, right? So he has a boat, and I guess that is going to be how they leave. They're going to use
a plane.
All right. Oh man, really a plane? I would think that's very noticeable. Everybody would see the plane.
Well, here's the thing. It depends on where he comes from. If he came from France, he doesn't need a boat or a plane.
He could take a train. I don't know if he could walk.
A zombie train. He could walk. Maybe he could take something.
Maybe that Jeep, right? Didn't he have a Jeep? I could have sworn before he just kept driving. He was so freaked out by everything. And it was like, where am I? Oh, shoot, I'm in Spain already? Wow. It's like, that's some good mileage on this vehicle here. I mean, again, Daryl pulling Days Gone earlier, where he just stops and he keeps refueling. Where are you getting these gas tanks, man? He's filling up his bike. We don't see where he's getting this, but he does have them. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I like the locations. I like the acting. There was a lot of action. It's just it's very hard to stick the landing of seasons and, of course, series finale. This was just a season finale. We know there's another season. I don't know. I was thinking maybe they would go somewhere else. They leave, and then maybe something happens or they get put on a boat. That was the other thing I was thinking, that they were going to get captured. They're fixing a boat, and like when we saw Frenchie, and they find out that he is part of he's got there on a boat, but it's the same type of people that picked up Daryl before, remember, and then brought him over to France from the States. Maybe they also do that in Spain, and they're like, oh, look. It's like what's the chances of catching the same fish twice after letting him go? Here we go. Now we just caught Daryl again. And then where are we going? Oh, well, we're going to Brazil. Go somewhere else. Maybe, but I guess not. And who knows? This could be a swerve, because remember, at the beginning of the season, they were in England. Season 2 ended that they were going to the tunnel. They were going into England. It started in England. We're like, this is going to be crazy. We're going to see all these stadiums. It's going to be nuts. And nope. They not even the full episode, and they're out on a boat and off to Spain. So, well, by accident. That wasn't the goal. But still, they didn't spend any time in England. So, maybe they won't. But either way, that was my rating. What about you, Rich? And then we'll get to Carlos.
So in terms of the overall show, I would say this was the best season of all 3 of the seasons. I think you could say an 8.5 or a 9. This last episode, like Carlos, it went exactly the way I expected, because first and foremost, I've never heard of a show ending on episode 7. So already, I knew they were going to do something to tease the next season. I still didn't like certain stuff in this episode, the stuff that we discussed. And then the other thing is, I believe you guys made the comment earlier that they wrapped up a lot of stuff with Fede. That isn't true, because he came to that boat, and then he did get knocked out, punched out. We still never got an answer as to this whole backstory and feud between him and Antonio. So they're going to go into that, I think, going into season 4, because now he is there with them. They may try to hold him captive, I guess.
Just to clarify real quick,
wasn't that the sister?
I said they banished him, like from the city, from the town. Yeah. That was my point. Like,
but she called him uncle, right? So.
Yeah, that's her uncle.
So then that means Maria is his sister. And that's why he probably blames. No, they didn't go into that. No, I'm filling in the blanks. I'm thinking that that's what it has to be. I'm thinking that it was his sister, and he blames his sister's death on Antonio.
No, they've already. It's not that.
No, because he loved Maria. That was a romantic type of relationship. Obviously, he didn't get chosen. It was Antonio that got chosen. So I feel they still need to provide answers about that particular relationship, because we didn't get no answer as to what happened with the 3 of those characters. Maybe they will revisit it, or maybe not. But overall, I think they left things in there to really dive deeper into going into next season. Obviously, they all want to get back to home. I don't think all those characters are going to make it back with Carol and Daryl, though. I feel like something will happen. I don't know what will happen, but they're not all going to make it back to America.
I think it really comes down to the plans for the next spinoff, and also from fan reaction. Why did Daryl last so long on The Walking Dead? That wasn't the plan. He wasn't supposed to always be there this long, and he did. Especially Carol. Carol was, she even says it. Melissa, I'm blanking on her last name, but the actress that plays Carol McBride, she even said, she's like, "Hey, they told me I was only going to be here for maybe a season and a half, and then that was it. I'm done." And she became a fan favorite. People were very vocal. They liked her. They liked her character. Like, oh no, keep her around. And sure enough, she stuck around, and look at this. She's still here and got the spin-offs and all this stuff going on. So I think if people really are vocal about Roberto and Antonio and all this, I don't see why they would. Maybe Antonio, just because of the connection with Carol, and that brings a new dynamic, bring her into a relationship. Yeah, she had it with Ezekiel, but not so much. That was just thrown in there. Like 1 minute we see her with long hair, and she is, it was like a common marriage, right? With Ezekiel type of thing, common law marriage. But we could see something like that. But then if that's the case, then Roberto has to tag along, right? And what about Cowgirl? Cowgirl stayed with the other one. Didn't they drive off? I don't think they were going on a boat. I didn't see them there.
That story is over. She went there to get reunited with Elena, and they went their separate ways.
Yeah.
Goodbye. So I don't expect to see her.
No, that's gone. That's gone. You know, they're gonna go live their life off in the countryside. So a happy ending. There you go. They worked out for them. You know, yeah, I don't know where they go with this. Only because you just said it. Mayor's banished. Okay. King of Spain, he's dead. What else? The rebels. We're assuming they're all dead. Those weird rebel guys that came over 2 episodes back to invade the village. Daryl took care of them with everybody else in that massive scene there with the chain gun and stuff. They're all gone. So now that they're stuck there, what happens? I think Frenchie is going to get involved and say, "Hey, I got here on a boat or a car." Say, "Hey, yeah, we can drive out of here. You don't need a boat to get to other parts of Europe." And then from there, maybe we get on a train or do something. I don't think they're going to stay in Spain. Just like how we got the swerve for England, I think same thing. It may start off in Spain, but then we're going to head out, and they are going to find a way back to the States, so then that way we can kick in for the next spinoff, which has to be back at the Commonwealth. And I mean, look at all the shows that get reboot, right? We got so many reboots happening. You name it, it's happening. We got all these shows that keep coming back, and I can see not The Walking Dead proper coming back, but I could definitely see the next spinoff, which they've confirmed they are working on another one. I could see that taking place at the Commonwealth, and then bringing back certain people like Eugene and some of the other OG, maybe Aaron, definitely Ezekiel. He has to be, because he was a governor, right? Or the mayor. No, I think they made him the new governor of the Commonwealth that last episode. You know, so I could see that, and then they can keep doing other things, or if they want to get more creative with this, they can say, all right, they get to the Commonwealth, but it comes out, hey, well, there's another community that they built similar to the Commonwealth. There's another big one. Head over there. They need help. Okay, they get over there. And then we get reunited with some of the people, because maybe it's on the West Coast, and we get reunited with some people from Fear the Walking Dead. I could see that. But either way, we know there's another show coming. That they already said that's happening. You know, they're going to keep making them. Yeah, it's not pulling the major numbers that Walking Dead proper used to pull in, but it's still pulling in millions of views. People are still watching. It's still Walking Dead. It's a strong IP. People are still engaged, still talking about it, still following it, or else we wouldn't have all these spinoffs. You know, we wouldn't have Dead City. We would confirm Dead City season 3 is coming. So that is still a thing. And we'll probably find out more info on that when this airs, because we're recording this Friday night, going into the weekend that the finale airs. So right afterwards, I'm sure they'll make some kind of announcement regarding Dead City when that comes in next year. And who knows, maybe they do tease or drop some info about the next spinoff. But I even if that does come out, it's not going to come out until, or at least really get addressed until after Daryl Dixon season 4 is done. And that's going to be next year. I don't think they started filming that. And the only reason why I say this is because there's some shows that film, especially since we do these shorter seasons, 6 episode seasons. Some of them film back to back. The Daryl Dixon, they filmed season 1 and 2 same time. We got Slow Horses, the Apple, they do that as well. They film 2 seasons at once. So, but I don't think they started filming on 4. But we'll see. I'm excited. Either way, this was a good season. Tell your friends, your family, your next door neighbor who walked away from Walking Dead to come back. Watch this season. I'm sure this will pull them in. It's interesting. Daryl Dixon is not a washed down version of anybody. He is definitely his own character. His approach, his lines, the way he just doesn't really care too much about things. He's just going with the flow. There was that whole line. It was like when Giuliano was talking to him. He was like, "Why do you do this?" Like, I don't know. The world's messed up. I'm just here. It's like he just falls into this. He's like, it's like stepping in shit. Like, God damn, I did it again. Well, gotta clean it off, and that's it. He walks in it up. Man, they got all these problems. Gotta kill. Gotta fix it. Gotta go. All right. But as long as it helps him in a way, and that's it. This was all to help him. Carol felt bad, wanted all this done, so he's helping out for Carol. Because remember, he didn't care about. He should have said that. He's like, I really don't care about you or Roberto, but he then adds that one line of, I couldn't have happiness, but at least you guys can have happiness. That's not true, Daryl. You said it earlier. You didn't even care about them. So, but hey, we will be back whenever they come out with another one because we're still 34 years in on this podcast and we'll just keep going until they stop. And then, like I said, AI bots will come and replace us. And they'll do all the reboots when they start rebooting all of it. Imagine that we're old, and then we find out they're rebooting Daryl Dixon from season 1. We're like, I remember when that show started. That'll be nuts. All right. Anything you want to say, Rich, on the way out? This is it.
Oh no! Thank everybody for their continued support. Stay tuned. We'll be covering a lot more stuff in the future.
How about you, Carlos? Want to say goodbye to everybody? This is it.
Yeah, we'll catch you all on the next one. Hopefully, the quality of the Daryl Dixon show can permeate through the rest of the Walking Dead spinoffs because this was definitely a season worth watching. So looking forward to the next, and we'll talk to you later.
Yep. Thanks again, everybody, for sticking with us all these years and just coming back. And here you're coming back with this one for Daryl Dixon season 3. We'll be back for, I guess the next one would be Dead City. I don't think we have a release date. We definitely know it's early next year. So we'll be back for Dead City 3. Now they went back with an older writer from the OG Walking Dead. So hopefully things get a little better because that was our main complaint. Everything else was fine. The acting, the set design. Cool. Storyline, pretty bad. So hopefully they fix that up. And then we'll find out what happens after that for Daryl Dixon season 4 and then continuing spinoffs. All right, everybody. Thanks again. And we'll see you later. Peace.